Hello everyone and welcome. Today I want to talk to you about labels and why people tend to stick with them so much, and why people love to label other people. Well, it's to simplify their thought process. It's because a lot of people have become intellectually lazy. They don't want to process things, and that's part of the issue I have with psychology, is because it puts people and things and certain behaviors, characteristics, traits in a box. And not everything belongs in a box, and then when you try to put a person as a whole in a box, that's when the problem comes, because there's so many different factors, like life experience, what their childhood was like, past traumas. Do they overthink about the future, so on and so forth. So, it's really become a state where everybody wants to have a label for everything, because they don't know how to compartmentalize, or they don't have the bandwidth to compartmentalize every aspect and every detail of whatever they're trying to fit in that one label. They don't have the bandwidth to describe what they're seeing or what they're experiencing. So they want to put it all in one box and say, oh, these certain traits go with this. But also, what if they had this certain experience, like I said, on first impressions? What if that person's just having a terrible day, just having a shitty day, and that's just what they were, or they're having they're going through a shitty season. That doesn't make that person who they are. It's just, you're not what you go through. You become who you are from what you go through, but you're not what you go through or what you're going through. You are a summary of your own of your life experiences, and how you grow from them, and that's just it. But a lot of people are really just, they don't want to think, and they rather go with these labels, and it can be very damaging. Even if the label is positive, sometimes, like, not everybody, deems everything a positive label. Not everybody wants to be an icon, or what do they call them? Sex symbols. Not everybody wants to be viewed like that, but because of a certain set of characteristics, you get viewed as something you may not want to get viewed as. Just because they don't want to sit there, and they're also verbally lazy and really, a lot of people are willfully ignorant. They just want to be ignorant. They choose ignorance, and ignorance is just not an excuse in the age of technology and knowledge. Is just not. There's too much information out there, and too easy to get access to it if you do the right kind of research. But a lot of people don't even want to do that, and it's just a few key clicks away. Maybe a click of a mouse, depending on what tech features your technology has. It's just a few types away, a few letters away, and you can get all the information you need. And people also don't like to read. Another component of being intellectually lazy is that you're also I don't even know what to call it, honestly. You don't want to do your research. You're just overall lazy. And yeah, that's a label, but it really is what it is. And when you have it at the tip of your fingertips, and you don't want to, do the work to get access to it, which is very minuscule compared to what it was back in the day. You'd have to go to a library, either buy or rent a book, not rent, borrow a book and bring it back on time. And now you can buy it, not my preference, but you could buy it on an app on a phone, and people don't even want to download the app to get the book on the phone. They don't want to do any of that. I'm a paperback person. I always have been. Screens, that's why I have these glasses on. Staring at a screen all day can severely disrupt your sleep, like, and give you insomnia, which is one of the reasons I wear glasses from time to time, especially when it's later in the day. Today I'm just doing it because my sleep was terrible last night. Again, staring at a screen, I'm gonna try again, and I try not to also stare at a screen, like maybe, or stare at my phone, or be in front of my phone, or in front of any screen that emits blue lights, these are blue light glasses, less than 2 hours before I'm ready to lay it down and go to sleep. But yeah, that was off track. People, they don't want to do the work, and that's another thing. You got to love yourself enough to educate yourself. So people are in a constant state of anger as well, because they can't understand and self-soothe. They can't compartmentalize anything, and they can't because they don't want to self-educate. So the whole thing is, don't get mad, get educated, man. Like, why are you getting mad when the information, you can sit up there and all the time you spend ranting online and ranting about this, that, and the third, you could have already, typed up some stuff, did some research, and then you would have more to back your rant and you would have facts to back your logic. But instead, people have, can be logical, but it's just like, if you don't have facts to back it, you're not going to be able to win with, a stupid person, basically, a person who just refuses to believe, or somebody who just wants to argue. And then the person that's completely wrong and they just want to argue for the sake of argument, they're going to be able to drag you down and beat you with experience, and you'll be feeling some kind of way, And so it's yeah, don't be that person. Don't be that intellectually lazy person, that person that's just overall mentally lazy. Like, people don't want to even articulate their words anymore. Like in my community, the Black community, they say when you articulate your words and you're eloquent, you're talking white. Like, what's wrong with using the language as it's intended to be used? What's wrong with proper English? This is what you spend all that time in school for. And what's wrong with not being lazy of the tongue? It's like you spend a whole lot of time learning the lyrics to these trash mumble rapper songs, and you want to get mad at me for choosing to use my brain power towards something else. It's sitting there pointing fingers and everything. And that's another thing about labels. People love labels because it's easier to point the finger when you have a label behind the finger pointing. So labels are an easy way to blame and shame, and run game. That's pretty much all it is. Like these first impressions out here, don't do them. It takes time. You got to slow cook people. You can't just sit up there, first impression, this person is like a really awesome person, they ran down the whole resume, yada yada yada. It takes time. You got to watch their character, you got to watch how they move, and then you have to move accordingly. And a lot of people get caught up on first impressions, and then like they're so stuck on the first impression that they want to hold on to that first impression because it was so awesome, and then that person could be dogging them out for the rest of their time, the rest of their season together. It doesn't make sense. You gotta properly vet people, period. You can't just be out there, the first impression was nice, and of course they slowly but surely disintegrate into a lesser human being than what they presented to you in the first place. It's all game. It's just like game, and then you're looking for somebody to blame, and then you become probably angry at life, angry at people in general because of this one person that duped you. But the blame is to be put on you because you simply weren't paying attention. You went off the first impression. It's like, oh no, they're probably you, and you made excuses for that person based off your first impression of them. Oh, well, they have all these accomplishments, so this accomplishment is probably why they're like this, and that. And you got to remember, some people are so broke that all they have is money, all they have are material things. They're spiritually bankrupt, spiritually, morally, emotionally bankrupt. They got people who are living lives that I can't understand. They would commit suicide. Robin Williams, Anthony Bourdain, that man literally lived the life for me. Martial arts, food, and travel. Those are my three bags. Those are my three favorite things to do in life. And I couldn't imagine committing suicide, living a life like that. But people do it all the time. And it's, they have the money, they have the success, by societal standards. But something there's a void inside them so deep that they just want to fall into it. You know, it's just like they want to die. You know, there's no telling what was going on in these people's lives. And Robin Williams make people laugh. And to me, comedians are geniuses. They transmute their energy, their pain, the most fucked up aspects of their life and life in general, and they turn it into art. That's beautiful to me. Like, I like making people laugh. I haven't tried to be funny, or I'm trying to keep it kind of serious on this channel. I might say some funny off-color comment. It just depends on your type of humor and your level of intellect. If you catch any of my jokes, and you know, some of them I can get on the level with you, and some of them will fly right over your head. It just depends on where you are and what your sense of humor is, and how uptight you might be, or you know, so on and so forth. There's too many different factors to say what's actually funny. But yeah, people want to keep you in a box because it's convenient for them to, you know, shame, blame, run game. You know, that's just point blank, period. You know, that's just the simplistic version of when they want someone to place their insecurities on and project their insecurities onto, basically. You know, their angers, their feelings, their emotions that they can't understand for themselves. They want to shift that onto you, you know, because it's too much for them to bear. And so they want you to bear their cross for them, is basically what it is. And, you know, sometimes we do take those burdens on. It's not always it's not always the burden, how heavy it is. It's how you carry it. You know, you could choose to accept or reject, but you know, that's all a matter of what's going to be on you. You know, you can do a whole return to sender, return that bullshit energy back to whoever it came from. You know, they can keep it and deal with their own cross, or you can, you know, or you could choose to carry that cross for them. It's not recommended. You know, I would say return to sender. Don't be bothered with other people's problems. You're going to have enough of your own, especially if you're a healer. You know, you're on this spiritual journey path. You're going to have enough, you know, of people trying to put you in a box, because there's no box, there's no bounds for the spiritual journey. And when you're a healer, you're a boundless person, you know. So I'll leave you with that. Drink water, educate yourself, learn something new every day, work out. And time is the only thing that is truly priceless, no matter how much they pay you for it. So just be sure to spend it wisely. And most importantly, with that time, you should mind your business.